Firm attention. Feet are together. Hands are at the side. Chumbi is a deep inhale through the nose and a contraction of the body. Elbows touch elbows. And we'll step out with the left foot and land into Chumbi as we exhale. Nice, loud exhale that says we are ready for the technique. Our hands are in fists. The fists are about 1 fist apart. They are out, arms are straight, elbows are locked, and they are at an angle from our body. Not straight out, not up against our body, but a nice angle from outside of our body. Our front stance. With a front stance, you want your feet on railroad tracks. You want each foot to correspond roughly with the distance of your shoulder and then very slightly apart from that, just so it's nice, comfortable, and solid. You don't want them too close together or in front of one another because it's unbalanced. Have them spread out nice and strong. Sink down on that front knee. Most of the weight of your body will be on this front knee. If you look directly down, you should not be able to see your toes over your knee. The back foot is at an angle. The knee is straight. We sink down. The back foot is at an angle. The knee is straight. From the other foot, same technique. Here! We want our feet apart, not too wide, not too narrow. We sink down on that front leg. Most of our weight is on this front leg. You should not be able to see the tips of your toes. You don't want to be sinking down so far you're falling forward. Keep that back up nice and straight. Keep those shoulders relaxed. But you don't want to be able to see the tips of your toes just past your kneecap. Again, this back foot, it is at an angle, and this back knee is straight. Good, strong front stance is laying the foundation for the rest of your techniques. If your front stance is weak, your techniques will suffer. If you don't have that leg bent, you won't be able to get the power and you will be out of balance. If you have your feet close together, you'll be out of balance. You won't be able to generate the power that you need. A good solid front stance is like pouring a good foundation that you have to build on top of. You don't want it crooked, you don't want it lumpy. You want it to be strong, solid, level, and even. And stepping back into Chumbi. Unless instructed to step forward, always step backwards. A defensive art. One that does not show aggression, but one that shows that you are prepared to defend yourself if necessary. Moving forward and turning with our basic techniques. Chumbi. Right foot back to the Kia. Kia! And we will move forward with low block. On a low block, the blocking fist will prepare above. We cross elbow to elbow. When we step in, we're engaging that hip, and we're twisting as we land. Twist the hip to bring the power of the body into our block. Our block should cross our body, cross the center if the punch is coming to the center. The block should engage the punch and draw it away from us, landing over that front knee, roughly a fist to 2 fists above our knee. From Chumbi, we'll step out beginning with left low block. Contract. Inhale breath through the nose. Engage the hip. Step forward, twist, and land with a choop. 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 Duiro. Turning over the open shoulder, whichever that happens to be. If I'm blocking with my right, that means I'm looking over my left. If I have been blocking with my left, that means I'll be looking over my right. I ended with a right low block, so I'll look over my left. From over the left, we'll contract this back foot, in this case my left foot, will slide behind, and I will simply rotate on the balls of my feet and with my hips, landing in a low block left, the opposite direction I began in. You do so at the command of Torah, and you turn with a Kia. Dwiro and Torah, Kia! Dwiro, looking over the open shoulder, contract, the back leg slides over, and Torah, Kia! Dwiro, look over the open shoulder, contract, leg slide behind me, and Torah, Kia! High block moves in its feet and with your hips in the same manner. This time, however, the preparation is different. We prepared with our blocking hand on top for the low block. We prepare with our blocking hand underneath for the high block. We're going to contract, inhale, draw in the hips, step forward with the left. As we exhale through the mouth, stepping with the left, using our hips to spin our body and bringing our high block forward. Skinny part of the arm should be facing your attacker. Your arm is above your head in a nice fist, and it's at an angle. The attack comes here. You want it to make painful contact for them, and then slide off your arm. High block, stepping forward. Sijai. Choo. 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 Dwiro. Look over the open shoulder. As we contract, the hand that will block prepares underneath. This back foot slides over, and we will turn at once with a high block going the opposite direction. The command of Torah, Kia! Dwiro, look over the open shoulder, contract, breathe in deeply through our nose. The new blocking arm goes underneath, the back foot slides, and Torah, Kia! Dwiro, open shoulder, Torah, Kia! Dwiro, Torah, Kia! Middle block. The footwork is the same, the preparation is the same as the high block. As we contract, the blocking hand goes underneath. We cross elbow to elbow. The hips have twisted inward. We're going to step forward, twist our hips outward. The block will come across our body, past the center point, just barely to the left of our center point. We're going to look like we are flexing our biceps. It's not full up and down. The fist is forward just a little. Dwiro, turn over the open shoulder. Contract with the new blocking hand underneath. Deep inhale. Back foot slides over and we twist. Torah, Kia! From Chumbi. Prepare for our Palpuki punching exercise. To begin Palpuki, we will always start with the left foot going out into horse stance and punching with our left fist. To start off with middle punch, we may prepare with the inhale. The hip pulls back. The right hand can extend out to help create that distance. We'll step out to the left into horse stance and fire our middle punch. The target for the middle punch is the solar plexus, right below the rib cage. Like this. Ha! Choo! Horse stance, the feet are parallel and pointed forward. Our knees are bent. Our feet are about 1.5 the distance of our shoulders. Wider than our shoulders, but not so wide that we've lost our balance. Deep, comfortable, sinking down with the left punch out and middle punch to fire the next punch at dual. Pull that hip back as we inhale. Fire the punch. Choo! 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 Remember to pull back with the hip, fire forward. Our punches move straight. We don't hook or chicken wing. We reserve the power that we're building up in our hips and in the side of the body, firing it forward all at once. The hands are replacing each other as they move forward. This hand, which is up, as it comes forward, it rotates, switches places, hits our target while this hand is pulled back. Now, after rotating, back into our chamber. Choo! Ready for the next punch. Choo! Yeah! High punch, same technique, different target. In chung, right under the nose. Choo! 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 Yeah! Pull back for chung bi. The left foot that we stepped out with pulls in. As we contract, as we exhale, we land back in chung bi, our ready position. Stepping forward while punching is very similar to moving while blocking. However, our hips move in the opposite direction. If in a block we were drawing our energy inward and then expanding outward to force that attack away from us, this time we will expand just as we did in our palpable punching exercise. The hip pulls backward, it creates distance. We're not just punching from here, but now I'm punching from back here, and I can engage the entire side of my body when I use my hip. We step forward with our punch as we land. We twist our hips into the punch and fire it. Middle punch, high punch. Choo! 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 Try to hold your punch into the last moment. Fire it once and focus your energy on that one snap movement where you bring all of your energy to bear in that single, small, focused punch. Chung bi. Stepping forward with a middle punch. Sija. Choo. 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 A Dwiro will again turn over the open shoulder. This time as we slide our foot back, keep your old punch out because that's going to allow you to have the distance on your new punch. We keep that other punching hand out, and as we step very slightly forward in order to land, our new punch will snap forward. From here, Dwiro, look over the open shoulder, contract, slide that back foot, bring the old punching hand over. The hand in our chamber has naturally drawn back a little further, and fire it at once with a Kia. Kia! If you'll notice, I picked up my foot and I stamped it in order to bring all of that power to bear. From here, Dwiro, look over the open shoulder. Inhale through the nose, draw that foot around. The old punching hand goes in front, pull back, land on that front foot and fire your new punch. Yeah! I'm now in a front stance moving the opposite direction. This is what it would look like from this direction. Dwiro, I'm looking over the open shoulder. Inhale through the nose, the back foot slides over, this time with the old punch. That's now created the space in my new punch. And as I step forward into a strong middle stance, I'll fire this punch forward. Bam! If you notice, I haven't really stepped forward to move forward. I've only drawn that foot back and then stepped it down from contracting into expanding into a nice front stance like I was before. Again, 0, look over the back shoulder. At Tora, a nice Kia. Bam! Okay, basic form number 1, Gichohyun Ilbu. From Chiryu, attention, Chumbi. Gichohyun Ilbu. Sishan, look to the left, and contract, left over right, step to the left, low block, choop, choop. Step with the right, middle punch, choop, choop. Contract, back into the right, slide the right foot behind, and turn in a right low block, choop, choop. Step with the left, middle punch, choop, choop. Look down the center, contract, draw the leg back, step down the center with the left foot, land in left low block with a choop, choop. Step with the right, middle punch with a choop, choop. Left step, middle punch, choop, choop. Right step, middle punch with a Kia, Kia. Look over your back shoulder, contract, left over right. We're going to turn around to the back and land in a left low block. Choop. Step right with a middle punch with a choop. Choop. Turn over that shoulder. Contract again. Draw the foot in and the arm right over left. We're going to turn again around to the back, landing in a right low block. Choop. Step with the left. Middle punch. Choop. Choop. Look back down the center, contract, left over right, step with the left down the center into left low block, choop. Step with the right, middle punch, choop, choop. Step with the left, middle punch, choop, choop. Step with the right with the Kia, Kia. Look over the back shoulder, contract, left hand goes on top. We're going to turn back again to our left, landing in the left low block. Choop. Step with the right middle punch. Choop. Look over the shoulder. Contract. Draw the leg in. Draw the arm in. Step behind ourselves. Back into the left low block. Choop. Step with a left middle punch. Kia. Kia. Stay still in motion. Look to the center, wait for the call of Baro to return. When you hear the call, contract in, land back into Chumbi. From the other direction. Chumbi! Gichohyun Ilbu! Sishan! Sishan! Choop! 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 Yeah! Choop! 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 one-step sparring number 1. These are brief, quick, choreographed movements to teach defense against a punch and a counterattack to finish your opponent. They help with us judging our distance, our target accuracy, being able to put combinations together. A senior and a junior student will begin facing each other and move first into Jumbi. Since they'll be facing each other, the senior student at Jumbi will step to the left. The junior will step with the right foot out. That way, since they're facing each other, the feet will step out together and they will be standing parallel still, directly in front of one another. So, the student challenging will put right leg back into a low block. From this position, they will await a kia to begin the challenge. At the kia, the challenge is instigated by stepping forward with a right high punch. Choo! Everything that the defender will do will be defending and counterattacking against that single right high punch. The defender has the opportunity to be prepared and make the call to when they are ready to respond with the one-step sparring technique. From this position, I, as a defender, can set myself, can think through my steps and prepare. My attacker is in low block, waiting for my command of kia. At kia, they will throw their high punch, aiming towards my own in chung, and as they punch, I begin my technique. Contract, the right hand is underneath the left. I'm going to step to an angle with my right. Not directly to the side and not directly forward, but to an angle with a middle block, open hand. I have stepped at an angle, the punches come this direction, and I've moved out of the way. That is always the primary defense against an attack. Don't be there. The punch is coming right at my in chung, and I step to the side. The middle block is to simply prevent that fist from turning back around. The primary defense is stepping out to the side. The middle block, like a traditional middle block that I've taught you, prepares the same underneath, comes out across the body, deflects the punch. This time, however, the hand is open. Respond after the block with a counter attack. First, middle punch to the attacker's solar plexus. Choo! Then a high punch to the attacker's in chung. Choo! From this position, we prepare to finish. We're going to step with this back foot around. We're now in a position to prepare most easily for a roundhouse kick. This will be a roundhouse right with the preparation of raising the foot. Roundhouse kia! Step back down. Finish in Chumbi. So again, you may prepare yourself. Your attacker is now in low block, preparing for a high punch towards your own in chung. When you're ready, you call out kia! Contract. Step to the right at an angle. Left open-handed middle block. Middle punch with the right hand. Choo! High punch with the left. Choo! Step around. Your feet are almost in a horse stance with the left behind the right. Prepare for the roundhouse. Kia! Kick the roundhouse. Pull it back down behind you, landing in a forward stance, pointed at an angle back to your attacker. Finish with a nice chumbi, step behind, contract, finish. It should look like this. Here! So, choo, choo. Here! Number 2 is simply in the opposite direction. The steps are the same, but you begin with the opposite foot. This time, we will contract towards our left, step out with that left foot at an angle, and it's a right middle block. The techniques are the same. We're simply switching feet. Left middle punch, left high punch. Pull the back leg around and prepare this time with the left foot for roundhouse kick. Kia! Pull behind. Crossover step and contract and land in Chumbi. Again, the same techniques, the same order, you're simply switching the feet that you begin with. At Kia, the punch will be coming from your attacker. Contract, step, choo. Middle punch, choo. High punch, choo. Step behind with the right, prepare and Kia! Roundhouse left, land in the back. Step behind and contract, and Chumbi. Both partners may finish the same, nice, even, symmetrical. One-step sparring numbers 1 and 2 from the opposite direction. Chumbi. One-step sparring number 1. Contract. Step out an angle to the right. Left middle block. Open hand. Choo. Right middle punch. Choo. Left high punch. Choo. As you inhale, bring that leg around. Prepare on the right for roundhouse. And Kia! With the roundhouse, land behind. Cross over, inhale, and Chumbi, you finish. From the back, it looks like this. Here! Choo, choo, choo. Here! Number 2, same steps, same technique, same order. You simply start on the opposite foot. This time we'll be stepping out toward the left angle, and it is a right open-handed middle block. Contract. Choo! Step left foot to the corner, open-handed middle block. Left middle punch. Choo! Right high punch. Choo! Bring this back right leg around. Your body naturally turns. Prepare for the left roundhouse and Kia! Land behind. Kia! Land behind. Cross over, inhale, and back into Chumbi. At speed, like this. Here! Choo, choo, choo. Here! The Hoshinsul are part of the curriculum that concentrates specifically on self-defense techniques. They simulate brief self-defense scenarios where you're attacked by someone and you free yourself from the situation, you establish control of the situation, then allow it to end, either by you removing yourself from the situation or incapacitating the other person. At the GUP level, each of these techniques will be wrist grabs and wrist escapes. So the simulation is somebody grabs you by the wrist. You know, they're meaning you no good, and they're going to drag you around, or they want to intimidate you, so they've grabbed you. So the different Hoshinsul will show us a variety of types of grabs that you can be taken by the wrist, and how you can free yourself and reestablish control of the situation. At the beginner 10th GUP level, we are doing our first 2 cross-arm grabs. So they begin in this manner. With the cross-arm grab, you have an attacker and a defender who are in front of each other. They can bow to show each other respect, to thank each other for offering this time of mutual teaching, and to kind of establish a little contract. We're learning here. I want to help you. You want to help me. I'm not going to hurt you. You're not going to hurt me. Many of these Hoshinsuls can be dangerous. They can be painful, and they're supposed to be. There will be times where you want to elicit a painful response from someone, but you're not actually trying to hurt them. You will, however, need a way to see that you're actually doing the technique properly, so you're going to need a partner who can tell you, yes, it's hurting, you're doing it right, or no, something's not right about your grip or your twist or whatever, and so you need to be able to apply the technique correctly, and some of these techniques are done correctly when they actually hurt. So it's important to have a partner to do this. I'm going to just be showing you the general techniques, but without a partner, you're not going to get a feel for it, and you're frankly not going to know if you're really doing it right or not. Important to use a partner, but it's important to use a partner properly. You're not trying to hurt each other, you're trying to learn together. So please always do this with care and with respect. So, you've gone to Chumbi together after you've bowed one to another. And the cross-arm grabs will begin with the defender, me, sending forth the right arm and bringing the left back into the chamber to show good discipline. The attacker who is facing me is going to send their right hand and grab my right wrist with their right hand. That's why it's called the cross-arm grabs, because they're actually reaching across their body. Their right hand grabs my right hand. From right to right means that they have to cross over. So with a Kia, they grab me. Now, if you've got a partner, grab them like you mean it. These techniques do no good if we sort of pretend and just kind of half grab, because anybody can pull out of that. But the neat thing about Hoshinsul is it shows you that these self-defense techniques are just that. They are techniques. They're not about your size. They're not about your muscles. They're not about how strong you are. They're about you using proper technique. By studying Hoshinsul, you're going to learn a few things. Number one, how to keep a cool head in a crisis situation. Number two, to be aware of things, not just panic in a moment. Oh my gosh, I've been grabbed. What do I do? What do I do? You pull away, what's going to happen? Now it's a tug of war. You pull, they pull. It's all about who's stronger and who has the bigger muscles. But you keep a cool head, and then you become aware of what they're doing. They're grabbing me. This is where my body is. And Hoshinsul is going to teach you about your body and their body, how they work, how they don't, the ways that we can get out, and the ways that we can inflict pain if necessary. So we've begun in the cross-arm grabs. They've reached across to their right. They've grabbed our right. Here! Number one is going to begin with some body awareness of showing you some things that they cannot prevent you from doing, no matter how strong they are, that's going to change their grip. So the first thing that you do in number one is, as they have you grab, I want you to open your hand. Now, you can try this with your own hand. You take your left hand and you grab your right. You have a fist with your right to start off with, but grab your own wrist as hard as you can. If you open your hand, there's no way you can squeeze somebody hard enough to prevent them from being able to open and close their hand. It can't be done. Now, you can feel by this gripping hand that when somebody opens their hand, it's now changed the shape and configuration of the bones in their wrist. You also can't stop that. So, by doing nothing that they can prevent, I have changed their grip. Regardless of how strong they are, I have managed to change their grip simply by opening the hand. So, this is what we're going to do. We've been grabbed. We're going to open the hand, and I want you to rotate it. Again, very, very difficult to stop someone from simply twisting within your grip. No matter how hard I grip my own hand, if I want to turn it just a little bit, I can do it. Now, what we've done by turning the thumb in order to face the attacker is, if they've grabbed you like this, you can see that my fingers are over the fattest part of my wrist right now. So the strength of the grip is on the widest part of my wrist. Very hard to pull away. But by very subtly rotating, what's happened? I've now made the skinniest part of my body facing not their full grip, but that kind of pincher action, the weakest part of the grip in between the fingers and the thumb. Well, guess what? By pulling directly out, it's almost impossible to stop someone from using that skinny part of their wrist to go up against the weakest part of a grip. No matter how strong this hand is, we're just anatomically not built to be able to stop this motion. So, with some very subtle things, we're going to open the hand, we're going to rotate until the thumb is pointed at the attacker. As we do that, I want you to drop your weight. All you have to do to drop your weight is just kind of bend your knees a little bit. So, you've opened the hand, you've rotated, you've dropped the weight. By doing those three things, you have fundamentally changed their grip, and you've loosened it in three different ways. You're basically ready to pull out of that thing, and there's going to be nothing they can do to stop it. So this is how we're going to pull out. We're going to step to the left, and as we step to the left, this hand that's now been opened and rotated is going to simply pull directly over their thumb. And as we do so, we're going to use our hips into that turn with a nice twist. So it's not just the power of your upper arm, it's the power of your body. By using the hips, we're just going to pull it straight over that thumb, again, the weakest part of their grip, and they're not going to be able to stop us. Shoop! So now we've pulled it out. We've got that good connection with the hip to the arm. This hand is already back and it's cocked, so we're going to respond immediately with this as a preparation to a chop to the neck. Choop! Okay, if they've been standing here, then we've chopped and we've struck them at the side of the neck. Now, if you can see from here, I already have a hand in the chamber. It's very naturally prepared for another kind of strike. This time it's going to be palm strike. Jang Kwan Kon Kyuk. And as we strike, this hand will pull back in the chamber. This hand will come forward and strike in the face. Now the palm strike is intended to strike with this meaty part of the hand, kind of at the base of the thumb and the very base of the hand at the bottom of the palm. You can pull your hand back because you're striking with this harder element with the straight force of your arm passing through your wrist and contacting them. It is not a finger strike. That would hurt you more than them. You're pulling those fingers back in order to strike them with that fat part, which is filled with muscle and bone behind it. So, choop! Now, we're going to finish with another palm strike, this time a low palm strike at the groin. This is with a Kia. Now, when you strike high, your fingers are up. When you strike palm strike low, the fingers ought to be down. If you try to strike somebody low with your hand up, you are invariably going to hit your fingers on them. I mean, that's just the way our hands work. So if you want to hit somebody low with this palm strike, just turn your hand upside down. That's going to protect your fingers and allow you to strike with that meaty part again. So we've struck here up, now we're going to strike low with a Kia. Kia! And they're done. You've popped them in the face, and now you've finished it in the groin. They're done. You've freed yourself, and now you have reestablished control of the situation. You've sought to stop an unavoidable conflict. They grab you, but you're trying to stop it as quickly, as cleanly, and as peaceably as possible. Now that you have finished them, you can remove yourself from the situation. You can run away. You can leave. Or you can try to talk them down. Now that they're on the ground, or now that they're in pain and they're no longer threatening you, you can do what is possible to try to end the situation peaceably. But you've finished the situation. So, again, open, rotate, drop the weight, step and pull, shoop, chop, shoop, palm strike, shoop, palm strike with a Kia, here! Cross arm grab, number one. Cross arm grab number two works nicely in a pair with number one. Number one, your momentum is carrying you to the left. Number two, your momentum is going to carry you to the right. So they kind of work in a pair. What if you need to go to the left? Well, I suggest use number one. What if you should go to the right on this one? Well, then two is probably your best bet. So again, it's a cross arm grab, number two. So the right fist is out, the left fist is up in the chamber. With their right hand, they reach across and grab your right wrist. Here! Okay? This time the preparation is different. We are going to open, And we are going to rotate that hand so that the thumb is facing. But as we're rotating, I also want you to contract your upper body. I want you to contract your body as you're also pulling that hip in. So as you're turning your wrist, contract your body. Now, if you notice, my hands with palms facing each other have gone one over the other. Now, if they're still holding on to you, which they ought to be, then their hand is going to be in between my hands. I like to tell the kids this is the bad guy sandwich. So if your hands are the pieces of the bread, then their hand is the meat. That's how you know you've done it properly. Your hand that's caught is underneath. Then you have their hand that's doing the catching. And then your other hand has now prepared on top. So we're going to prepare now to step at an angle with this right foot. As we do so, several things are going to happen. We're going to step at an angle. We're going to pull the hand, the right hand that's been caught, all the way out and up and to the side as we send the hand on top in a chopping motion, striking them on the side of the neck. So, it's complicated to have so many moves at once. So, we make the bad guy sandwich, step, pull, chop. You see that? Step, pull, and you can see my pull is actually a preparation. So it's not just pulling it out, but it's pull. It's up and away, kind of at an angle, and the chop has now created some of that distance. Remember pulling the arrow back on the bow? Step, pull, chop. From back here, you're ready for that palm strike. So you send it straight forward into their face. Palm strike, choop. As you're striking, that hand that's chopped them, it's going to naturally pull back in the chamber. And we're going to finish with another palm strike, a low palm strike to the groin, just like number one. Here! Okay, so from that chop and from that pull, we did three things at once. This is actually a preparation for a palm strike. Choop! As we palm strike, the hips push the palm into the person, pulling back the other hand into the chamber, preparing for that finishing move. Palm strike, remember, fingers down. Palm strike, groin of the kia. Kia! Again, like this, all together. Shoot! Shoot! Kia! Cross arm grabs, 1 and 2.